Hey there, I want to talk to you today about the dangers of peeking. And peeking is looking to the data while running the A/B test. Of course, you have prepared everything pretty well, I guess. So let's assume that you did bandwidth calculations and you can do it like this in a sheet. And you will find out what the minimum detectable effect is that you can measure. So you can measure here on the homepage an uplift of 15% with a significance of 80%. With 4 weeks of running a test. 4 weeks is a long time, and especially smaller clients or smaller projects need to run tests for a longer period. What often happens is the smaller the project, the more focused on the data they will also be. So what I often see with smaller projects is that everyone is looking to the data, and if there is one transaction less, that already causes some kind of panic, like, oh, is everything going well? Now, apart from bugs or weird things going on with your data and your test not going well, we often say the test just has to run for 4 weeks to say anything about this data. And let me show you an example here. So this is the data of an AA test. And you see an AA test has nothing changed visually. They are just two of the same versions next to each other. And you usually run AA tests to figure out if your data distribution is good and if there is not anything weird with the setup. As you can see here, so this is per day, and I've made a copy here of Universal Analytics, even though we're going to GA4, I know. But what you see here, imagine you would look to this day, or you would look to this 3 days in a row only. You see that there is a huge difference between the two variants. And if you would base your data only on, for example, 3 days, it wouldn't be representative for the whole sample. And this is why we calculate with bandwidth calculations. You can do, like I said, the sheet. I also have a video on this, so you can learn how to do it. There are also calculators like the CRO calculator that you can calculate with frequentist statistics how long a test should run, or it gives you a very clear indication. And then, after that 4 weeks of period, or after that 3 weeks of running an A/B test, then you got all the data you need to actually make a conclusion. Because the smaller amount of data you have, so especially in the first few days, the less representative it will be. So that is because if you collect a large sample, eventually you get a certain average, and a certain average of a large sample is just a better average than an average of a very small sample, because it might be there was one person that did a transaction that you usually never see, like a huge amount of products, for example, and that kind of messes up your average. But if you got a large data set and the data is much more kind of equalized, and you get a much better average. So this is why we calculate beforehand how long a test should run, and that's why peaking can be dangerous, because as you see here, this is an AA test, and there is lots. Well, it looks like there's quite a difference, but in the end, this AA test was fine if you look to the overall data and you collect a good sample. So this is why peaking can be dangerous. So don't panic, let your test run. And if you want to do conscious peaking, you should look into sequential analytics, which I also have a few videos about. But that is just something a little bit more advanced. Good luck, have fun!